3 ExactRail pieces of rolling stock to review, 2 of which are recent releases just hitting your hobby store shelves. The first one is the Trenton 67'11" Bulkhead flat car. This is in TTX forward thinking logo, so we'll be taking a look at that. The second is a Thrall 63-foot Centerbeam flat car. This is Burlington Northern. We'll be taking a look at this. And the third is a piece of rolling stock that I've recently reviewed. It's a Magger 4750 covered hopper, but it has a unique Cargill scheme, and I've gotten requests to see this on video, so I'll be showing you this scheme, which is kind of a unique scheme that usually you don't see from manufacturers because there's patches of paint here and there. So we'll just be taking a look at the scheme, but we won't be going over the details of the car. But feel free to look at my previous review on the Cargill 4750 covered hopper. The Magger 4750 covered hopper. So with that said, let's take a closer look at these 3 pieces of rolling stock and see what ExactRail has to offer the modelers here recently. The first piece of rolling stock we're going to look at is the 67'11" Bulkhead flat car in the TTX forward thinking logo. So let's go ahead and remove this from the box. Now what you'll find here is the flat car nicely contained in this packaging here. It's protected by plastic. But one thing that sort of alarmed me when I first looked at it was that there was no actual bulkheads on the end. And then I opened the packaging and noticed here they are. They're balsa wood, or appears to be balsa wood, and they're actually real wood bulkheads. They even come with assembly instructions here. So I'll assemble this and we'll take a look at it assembled. Now that the bulkheads are installed, let's talk about some details. First of all, ExactRail suggests using a pliable CA cement like microbond cement for micro scale decals on these bulkheads to install these bulkheads. I suggest you go with that because these bulkheads are made of thin wood and you don't want to discolor the wood and you don't want glue coming out from the edges. So just be careful because it's susceptible to that if you're not careful and you don't use the right type of bonding agent to get these things on. Also, let's talk about MSRP. These MSRP for $46.95, but ExactRail, who sells these exclusively on their website, has sales from time to time, and they happen to have a sale as of the date of this video, so be sure to check that out. Now let's go over some details of the actual car and some features. Let's start from the edge of the car and work our way down on details. First, you'll notice that it has a 1016 body-mounted coupler by Microtrains. This is accurate for the prototype. It's a longer coupler that protrudes from the edge of the car, and I've looked at prototype photos and it looks accurate. Another thing that'll probably jump out to you modelers is that there's no magnetic trip pin on the bottom of the coupler anymore. I think that's kind of old way of business anyway, so I like the fact that they got rid of it because I cut mine off on some of my cars anyway because I don't have a magnetic system on my layout, and I don't think anybody that really has a more modern layout does that either. So I think that's a good move by ExactRail. You'll also see that there's the air brakes line here on the end with a nice silver tip done. You also will be able to catch the brake wheel and the ladders and all the nice fine details on the end of the bulkhead here. Moving our way down, all the writing is legible and clear under magnification and to the naked eye. I do have a set of magnifying glasses that I actually put on like a pair of glasses and look at these models under magnification and everything's clear. On some of the lower quality models you'll find smudges, but you don't find that on the products from ExactRail. Also, while we're looking at the car, on the body of the car they have nice molded details showing each little section of the car and where the tie downs would be. All the little areas for that is nicely done. You also see ExactRail's 100-ton ASF ride control trucks at the end here. I wanted to zoom in on ExactRail's 100-ton ASF ride control trucks just to show you the detail and the level of detail they go to. Not to include the fact that they've got the CNC machined metal wheel sets, which I think are some of the best metal wheel sets in the industry. Had no derail problems from anything ExactRail on their wheel sets. They've always been engaged, they've always performed great. So they did a really good job here. And while we're zoomed in, you can see some of the smaller lettering on the side of the car and how well that shows up, even close up and under magnification. So a really good job by ExactRail on that. Same thing on this end, the 1016 body mounted coupler by Microtrains, and you've got the etched metal platforms on both ends here. So great job, nice detail on that. And then you can probably see from this angle, as I turn this around, the ladders, the printing on the edges, and all the fine detail on this. Coupler cut levers, and the airline hose right here with the silver tip. Taking a look at the bottom, you can see all the underbody detail, the airline hoses, the air reservoirs, things like that. Just nice underbody detail, and there's a couple other things we haven't covered. Things I didn't get a chance to show you or mention are the narrow style draft box, the shank wedges, striker casting, and nut and bolt detail. They also have photo etched stainless steel brake platforms, which I did show you, and the brass bulkhead caps. The last thing I want to mention about the Trenton Works 67'11" bulkhead flat car is that there's several different schemes. There's TTX forward thinking, TTX 5-stripe yellow conspicuity. There's also 3-stripe white conspicuity from TTX, and then you've also got the HO scale and N-scale varieties of those. The N-scales are announced and not yet released, but the HO scale should be on your shelves. Now let's talk about the Platinum Series Burlington Northern Thrall 63-foot Centerbeam flat car you see here. These are also a recent release, and we're going to go into detail on this. So let's go ahead and pull it out from the box. There's no parts to assemble on this. However, it shows you a little card on how to handle this car because the center sill of the model is fragile, so they're telling you to handle the car with the car body. So here is the model outside of its box. And the Burlington Northern green really snaps, but I've got a bit of heavy lighting behind me, so I apologize for any glare you're getting. The legibility of the writing is very clear, great details, so let's go ahead and get started on one end and work our way down to the other. Before we get started on some details of this car, let's cover the basics. You've got an MSRP of $46.95, but you've also got the ExactRail pricing on their website, which can change, so be sure to check that out. We've got different road names of this car. We've got Milwaukee Road as delivered, Milwaukee Road Billboard, BNSF. We've got Burlington Northern, we've got Western Pacific and Union Pacific. This is available in HO scale only at this time, as far as I'm seeing. So let's go ahead and cover some details of this model. Wait and cut out the BS. One thing you'll notice right at the end is the factory KD couplers. At the end here, the magnetic trip pin is installed on these, but these are metal couplers, so very strong couplers. You've got a .010 inch etched brass center partition and COTS and ACI placards you'll see along the edges here. You've got narrow style draft box, shank wedges, striker casting, and full nut and bolt detail that we'll get into in more detail. We've got those ExactRail AESF 100-ton ride control trucks that we were talking about it earlier on the other piece of equipment. And we talked about it, the CNC machined metal wheel sets with metal axles on this car, wire grab irons, brake rods, and coupler cut levers. You can see those on the end here, the coupler cut levers, and the etched metal platforms. So one thing I really need to convey to you is the very fragile center piece. Now they put a warning like I showed earlier on this, but you've really got to train yourself to pick this up this way. I've already made a couple of mistakes in filming, picking it up by the center partition, and it is fragile. You hear it pop and snap. You do not want to destroy a really unique, nice piece of rolling stock like this. So be very careful when handling this. Handle it from the bottom. But I'm showing you the underbody detail, the brake lines, air reservoirs, things like that. As you can see here, the wheel sets you can get a good look at the bottom. We've got the etched metal platforms on the end and the KD number 58 couplers, as well as the air hoses that are already installed. They have the silver tipped ends as well, as you see to the right of the coupler there, and the magnetic line is running from the coupler. Magnetic wand is running from the coupler here, unlike the other car. Also on the ends, as you can see, is the brake wheel, ladders, all the writing, again, accurate and very legible under magnification. Nice job by ExactRail on this car overall. Looking at the top, you can see the nice detail on the top of this car. You'll be able to install loads, custom loads on this car as well. It'll be a nice car for all you guys that like detailing these cars that have loads. So overall, great job on both of these pieces of rolling stock by ExactRail. I really spent a lot of time on the first one and didn't really get to spend as much time on this one, but we've got two pieces of quality rolling stock. Now I'm going to show you the Magger 4750 hopper, just because of its unique color scheme that I've gotten some questions from viewers on, and then I'll let you go and give you my final thoughts on these products from ExactRail from these recent releases. Now I've killed some of my backlighting so you can see the detail on this Magger 4750 covered hopper. Now when I first did the review on the Magger 4750 covered hopper, we talked about all the details, so be sure to check out that review if you want the details. But shortly after I did the review, within a few months, I'd had some emails about this Cargill version because of the unique paint scheme. There's patched paint in different places, and I haven't done much work on the prototype, but you've got an appearance that usually you don't get from model manufacturers because everything comes out clean and crisp. But this is more patched and done like what you'd find on the road when you're out in your row yard that you see now. It doesn't have weathering, but it's got all the patching done. So a lot of people just wanted to see the paint scheme in real life, not just the pictures. So here's the paint scheme. You can see some of this placard area here is taken off, and you've got a patched over CLSX number 501. There's kind of a yellowish patch over a white patch. You've got your reflector markers here. Just a nice job, and I'll turn this around so you can see the other side. Basically a patch job there with kind of an off-white, a white, your reflector markers, and again the patched road number and things like that. So really nice job, really unique car. Did a great job on this car. I think it looks awesome. And actually, this may be the first piece of rolling stock that isn't shiny and new that I have, because I haven't really gotten into weathering yet, and I haven't gotten into prototypical modeling of aged equipment and patched equipment. So it's pretty cool the way they did this Cargill hopper, a Magor 4750 hopper, but they did a unique paint scheme and they did a good job. Alright guys, let's wrap up this review. Well guys, for an MSRP of $46.95 and even the discounts that are available on ExactRail's website, I think these cars are a great deal. They've got great quality, they run great in long consists, as you saw with the CNC machine metal wheel sets with metal axles. They just freely roll from side to side. I've got uneven parts of my layout, and I've actually got to set the wheel sets off the track so I can get them to stop rolling on my uneven parts of the layout. It really shows some of the imperfections of my layout. But in long consists, that's great, and even in short consists, because you're not going to have any binds or problems pulling long consists because those wheel sets are so well done. Also, for you guys that are Made in America fans, designed, engineered, tooled, and injected molded here in the US, right in Utah. So you can't get any better than that when it comes to made in the USA. Also, the detail they go to is amazing. I love the detail on the Bulkhead flat car and the Centerbeam flat cars, and this Magor 4750 hopper. Great detail and great job from the ExactRail team down there in Utah. So overall, yes, my suggestion is get these cars if you're a fan of those rodent names or that era or those eras. So be sure to check these cars out at www.exactrail.com. These products are sold exclusively through ExactRail, so that's where you get these products from now on, and it's a great product. And they offer these discounts from time to time, and they have sales, and you can sign up for their email list too. I'm a member of their email list, so I can see when they've got sales or deals or things like that. So be sure to check those guys out. Great products. I could not do any more than recommend this product to you, because I had absolutely no problems taking them out of the box, running them, no derailments, no broken parts, no broken pieces, no smudged lettering. Just a completely solid product from beginning to end. So overall, my recommendation is get them if you like them. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.